Ruben Amorim will give his first Manchester United training session as head coach very soon. Some reports say Friday, with his visa expected to be approved tomorrow. Bruno Fernandes speaks out about what Amorim will bring to United and what is needed that Amorim will bring to hopefully get Manchester United back on track. Casemiro, bar the Liverpool game this season, has actually been pretty good. And could he, be given a bit more time under Amorim? That's yet to be seen, as long as he can show the intensity, which is the big question. But Casemiro could be safer than first expected, despite reports just last month that he'd be sold in January. Anthony exit, Mbeumo interest. Man United looking to replace Anthony with potentially Mbeumo, but they also have high hopes in Amad Diallo, Branthwaite, Minter, Kirkes, Omar Mamouche among Manchester United transfer targets. Manchester City, a bit of a trial update in terms of United, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool getting involved, what the latest situation with that is and how it impacts United. We could get compensation. And then Kone and Dangle injury updates. Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. This is your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup, starting with something that's not news, but it's Amorim's first 10 games as United manager, guys. How do you feel about that? It's which we should beat, but they beat Tottenham. They might get a bit of confidence. They play with a bit of intensity. Bodo/Glimt, I expect we beat them. Everton, I expect we beat them. Arsenal, sadly, I think they're going to beat us, especially because it's away. But if Ruben Amorim wins that game, that is a statement. Forest is going to be difficult, but hopefully maybe they've run out of steam by then. Victoria Pleasant, we should beat. City away, that's again a very difficult game. And Tottenham away. Arsenal, City and Tottenham away, all coming up in his next games as managers. 3 difficult games, especially how Tottenham ran us over. Bournemouth at home. Bournemouth is not an easy team to play. They've been good this season. And Wolves away. Now, Wolves haven't been best this season, but Molineux's always a difficult place to go to. Manchester City, very lucky to get 3 points out of that game. So there are some difficult fixtures coming up for Amorim. If you can get results, brilliant. But I think we've got to be patient with Amorim and realise that it starts a bit easy, but it gets a bit difficult. So we've got to be patient with Amorim and what happens there. But I'm a bit nervous, but I'm excited at the same time. I think that he's going to be a good manager long term. We just got to get behind him. So what has Bruno Fernandes said on Amorim? Bruno Fernandes and Amorim, he said, for me, what stands out about Amorim is the connection he has with the players. You have to see the way they say goodbye to him, and when he leaves in the middle of the season, it shows there's a good personality and that he's someone who gives all for his players. Bruno speaks about what's special about Amorim in terms of the connection he has with his players, how they love him, how they were playing for him. And I think that was something that Ten Hag lacked. I don't think Ten Hag had the best relationship with the United players. I think there was 1 or 2 players that liked him, but I think Amorim seems to connect more with his players than Ten Hag. And I think one of the reasons that the players started playing a lot better under Ruben Nistelrooy, Bruno said, is because Ruben Nistelrooy brought the fun back to training. They felt that they could connect with him more. And I think that is a big thing at United. I think the players should perform no matter who the manager is, but how they connect with the manager is definitely a thing. Because I think Erik Ten Hag's ideas, maybe the players couldn't understand, they couldn't connect with him. Bruno said, I've seen many moments where players were struggling and Amorim, kept faith in them. He always defends his players. He had a very young team and that needed that. And I hope that when he's here, he can do the same with the youngsters. We, the more experienced players, have to help him get the best out of every player at his club, says Bruno, and I like that. He said that Amorim doesn't turn on his players. He puts a lot of faith in young players that are inexperienced. And obviously, when you're young and inexperienced, you're probably going to go through a bad patch. I wouldn't even say Garnacho's going through a bad patch, but he's been getting a bit of stick lately because he's been a bit wasteful. And Amorim will hopefully stick with Garnacho, back him and get him back to his best. I think Bruno's saying that he always backs players that are struggling, looks to get the best out of them, keeps faith in them, particularly the young players, which I think is needed at United, particularly because I do think we've got a few fragile personalities at United. Bruno Fernandes then said Amorim did something really special at Sporting. I hope he does the same here. One person can really change the energy of the place. And this is the same Bruno that said 4 days ago that what Ruud van Nistelrooy's done different to Ten Hag is, because he couldn't do much different because it's only a short time, was more about the energy and getting them to enjoy training again. And I think it's crazy, but Bruno's right. If Amorim brings the right energy and the players like him and he builds a good connection with the players, they're going to more likely play for him and they are going to play better. They are going to give more for him. They should have given more for Ten Hag 100%, but they will. And Bruno said on Amorim as well, Sporting went about 20 years without winning a league and won it twice in 4 years with a very young team. I hope we can do the same here and be a successful period. I mean, it's been 10 plus years since we won the league. We've got to compete with City and Liverpool. They had to compete with Benfica and Porto, who have more money than them. And we have a young side. Sporting had a young side. Hopefully Amorim could do what he did at Sporting at United, win us those titles, get us back on track. It would be absolutely amazing if he could do that. And I think Bruno offers some really good insight here. But enough of Bruno's insight, let's talk about transfers, let's talk about news, let's talk about other information going about. It was said there's no definitive decision over the future of Casemiro. The club know that it would take a side from the Saudi Pro League to sign him, as he will not forget his hefty salary at United. Man United do appreciate Casemiro's influence on the squad, and the door is open for him to improve and get up and running. Now, I think Ineos want to sell Casemiro. They know the wage bill, they know everything, they want to get him out the door, but I think Ineos know it's going to be difficult to sell Casemiro because of his wages, and they know that now he's playing better, now he's a leader, has a good relationship with some of the players. I think Ineos' stance is they probably want to sell him in the summer, but if he continues to play well and he continues to play well under Amorim, it's not the be-all and end-all. But if he does play well, it also means we've got more chance of someone buying him. But it's just the wages. I think United want to offload Casemiro. But he has, if you take away the Liverpool game, and that is a big if you take away the Liverpool game, because that was horrific, he has been good this season. He actually has. He's looked a lot better, particularly in these games under Ruben Nistelrooy with Agate. But I would sell Casemiro in the summer regardless. Unless between now and to the end of the season, he's just so crucial under Amorim and is just our most important midfielder. I'd probably sell him in the summer and look to invest that money elsewhere. But I think if he does stay, it might not be the end of the world if he continues this form. In terms of other transfer targets, Antony replacements could be Minter or Brian Mbeumo, both players admired. I like Semenyo of Bournemouth as an Antony replacement, if I'm going to be honest. However, Jack Talbot did say there is huge confidence in Amad Diallo and the idea that they do not want to hinder his development. I mean, you had Amad Diallo at home the whole time and you spent 100 million on Antony. I mean, that could have been 100 million saved. That could have gone into Harry Kane. That could have gone in to someone that was much more needed, which was a shame. But there was apparently a huge confidence in Amad Diallo. And they don't want to hinder his development, which is good. I think we need another attacker, but I don't necessarily think we need someone that's specifically a right winger. I think we need someone that could play across the front three under Amorim, someone that would be competing not really with Amad, but with the front line in general, because we don't want to hinder Amad's development, but we need to strengthen the front line. In terms of the left-back, left centre-back targets, it was said that United are monitoring Miros Kerkez, even though Shaw is back fit, because, well, let's be honest, Shaw is back fit, but for how long, that is the big question. And that that Ineos are very keen on Branthwaite, believing he can be a key figure at the club and the first left-sided central defender. I think Branthwaite, with his physical attributes, will be needed in defence. I think Amorim would like Branthwaite. I think they're still in for Branthwaite. He plays with an intensity. I can see them going in for Branthwaite. My hope is that Everton get relegated and we get Branthwaite on the cheap. I'm not too bothered about Kerkez. I think there's lots of good options out there. I think he's exciting, but I think that Bournemouth want a bit too much money than what he's actually worth. But I think we need a left back, and I would take Branthwaite as a left centre back. No shadow of a doubt. I think we need an attacker and probably another midfielder long term. In terms of attackers, it is said that Eintracht Frankfurt, Omar Marmoush is potentially one to watch for Manchester United in the January window. Now, I did a video about 8-9 months ago on this player. And he had an all right season at Frankfurt. It wasn't anything like this season. So far this season, he's got 11 goals and 7 assists, 18 goal contributions. But I did a video on him back in March, and I was talking about strikers on my second channel that Tottenham's decided, and I said maybe they could look at this guy. Apparently, he's going to be available for £30 million. He's going to be available for a lot more now because he's breaking records. He's been unbelievable. But I tell you what, he's been unbelievable this season. It could be one to watch, but I don't know if we've got the funds for that in the summer. And I feel like if we were going to go big on the striker, I feel like we just go big for Chocorez, surely. Who knows? In terms of Man City, it was said that Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham have lodged legal notices reserving the right to seek compensation if City are found guilty of serious charges among the 115 alleged breaches of Premier League financial rules. If the allegations against City are proven, the club could seek compensation for lost earnings, missing out on a league title or European qualification, other several reasons, which could result in hundreds of millions. Hopefully, that happens, because we know Man City have cheated, but let's be honest, I think they'll be found not guilty and I think they'll get away with it, which means that Villa and Newcastle and all those other sides like Chelsea will start bending the rules as well. The Premier League don't want to charge Man City. And the reason behind that is because of the relationships with the UEA, the threats they get. But if they don't, they know that Villa's going to cheat. They know that City will just cheat more. Chelsea will cheat more. Newcastle, they'll all bend the rules a bit. So then, we know this. There's 115 charges for a reason. There's a lot of evidence against them. Everyone kind of knows they're guilty, but at the end of the day, will they be found guilty? That's a different question. And if they are found guilty, they've got to pay compensation, the financial side of that. I just think with the lawyers City have got out there, they probably get away with it, which is a shame. And in terms of academy injuries, it was said by Travis Minnan on Gore that it's just a short-term injury. He was a bit unlucky, as with Seko Kone. When you come back from injury, you're vulnerable. Like Kone, he has to play and stay fit. Toby Collier did come back on the pitch from his injury, which is a positive, which is a shame that some of the academy stars are picking up injuries, but nothing major. Anyway, guys, I know I spoke really quick, but I needed to power through that because I'm out now. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button. Of course, subscribe if you're new. Bye.